the United States of America, the land of opportunity. I'm Julian Henton, and for 1 year in the 90s, I lived the American dream as a Californian high school student. 2 decades on, I'm back to find out if the dream still lives on. Probing the heart, mind and soul of the greatest superpower the world has ever known. These are American Times. In this episode, I explore Washington State in the Pacific Northwest, keeping Seattle safe with real-life superheroes.
Call 911. If someone swings, everyone's getting pepper sprayed.
Parading with pirates.
It's our town tonight.
I work out a new look in the city that gave us grunge. And in the wild, I trek for Bigfoot and other Washington wildlife. I go to the mountain that lost 1,200 feet in height in 2 minutes and visit the town where Twilight is set. The metro area of Seattle is home to half the state's 6.8 million people. Not even in the top 10 rainiest cities in the country, it has been unfairly nicknamed Rain City. The state itself has bred some of the world's biggest companies: Amazon, Microsoft, Boeing and coffee chain Starbucks. Well, they're everywhere here. Home of Starbucks, Seattle. Well, I guess you are supporting local business. Another Starbucks. It was impossible to avoid them. Can't say I'll meet you at the Starbucks. Get completely lost. I'd arrived near the end of Seattle's incredibly long 8-week Seafair festival, which has run annually since 1950. Tonight was the biggest event on the calendar, the Torchlight Parade, travelling a 2.5-mile route through the city. These people must be waiting for the parade. It's only got 9 hours to go. Nice and early, Must be pretty spectacular. This guy's got a TV. Very well set up. With a few hours downtime at the luxurious and eco-friendly Hyatt Olive 8, the high seas of the swimming pool were a reminder that I would be joining the parade's beloved pirate float later that night. Gotta be a pirate. Wonder what they do. Arr, arr. Ooh, don't really feel like a pirate. They're usually plunderers, aren't they? Arr, arr. Ooh. Catching the monorail downtown, I entered into the chaos of the pre-parade Torchlight Run. Push my way through. I met up with my pirate crewmates and was immediately ridiculed for my casual attire. With their cannon kicking off the run, it was nice to see that we even had pirate groupies. It may have been the rum, but the pirates were all in good spirits.
Seafair is probably the hippest, coolest festival this side of Mardi Gras. Our job is to keep it from being boring.
Oh, what's my job going to be?
Smiling and waving duty.
Not like going, arr, arr, arr.
No. Okay, the 18th letter of the alphabet is employed by the rankest, most amateur wannabe pirates.
No R-ing, eh? We had one more pre-parade duty to carry out. The crowning of Miss Seafair, in which our captain had a starring role. Is that the key to the city?
That is the key to the city.
Can I hold it?
Oh, yes.
I'm holding the key or you've taken the key back. Seeing a chance for local fame, I snuck my way onto live television.
So we are going to put aside our plundering and roisterings for just a bit. I'll give you this back so that we can crown Miss Seafair tonight. Nothing to see here! Go home! It's over!
With business taken care of, we headed to our waiting position near the end of the float procession. The parade had a 50s small town vibe about it, with marching bands and beauty queens taking centre stage, while some people looked like they'd just wandered in off the street. We'd been waiting for hours, but with night falling, it was finally time for our pirate ship to sail, the sirens signalling the firing of our deafening cannon.
Am I allowed to do the R?
If you must.
If I must. Arr! Arr! Oh, I got an R back. He gave me an R back.
Have a seat.
Loud!
It's our town tonight.
It was a fun night. My only disappointment was that while the other pirates were on the street harassing the crowds, I was confined to deck.
I'm just a meager cabin boy.
Ah, you know what? But we like you.
Arr! Arr!
With around 300,000 people lining the streets, it was an incredible introduction to the city. The next day, I went to EMP Museum, formerly known as the Experience Music Project. Seattle has been a breeding ground for some huge musical names: Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Jimi Hendrix and Kenny G. But the person most synonymous with Seattle is Kurt Cobain and his band Nirvana. With their 1991 album Nevermind becoming a worldwide hit, the term grunge became both a musical and fashion trend, and in 1993 it even resulted in me wearing a cardigan for a number of months. Sub Pop Records, the label that first signed the band, are still operating, and I'd arranged to intern at their discreet downtown office for the day.
Sub Pop, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's Julian reporting for work.
I'll bug you up.
Okay, thank you.
There's an estimated 1 million internships offered every year in the US, with half of those being unpaid. It's almost become a rite of passage for the post-college graduate.
Feels like my first day at school. Quite nervous. This is where you'll be. Oh, great. Julian, what's it?
Jackson.
Jackson and
Jacob.
Jacob. Good to meet you guys. I'm under you, am I?
Yeah, exactly it. Alrighty,
Great.
so.
Sub Pop band Poor Moon had a new album to promote, so our first job of the day was a mail-out. We needed to get their CD into the hands of alternative radio stations around the country.
Hello, are you an intern as well?
Yeah.
Oh, there we are, millions of you. Is he an intern?
That's a warehouse employee. He is.
Are you getting paid?
Despite the intern pay rate, there are no shortage of applicants.
Must be quite a sought-after position.
I feel like it's fairly illustrious within young postgraduate Seattle community.
With both my workmates being a ridiculous 23, I wondered what the chances were for an older intern breaking into the scene.
They try to get a lot of younger people because they're probably more doe-eyed and idealistic and motivated, and they'll probably do a lot more.
Not jaded and
that's
bored
true,
and like me, mid-30s, like no way, oh dear.
Their youthful enthusiasm for Sub Pop was evident.
Sub Pop's great. It's a lot of Seattle history, and it's a good starting point in like getting involved in the music industry here.
In Seattle, Sub Pop's the top.
And who is your favourite of the people that they've signed? The Nirvana?
Yeah. The best.
I mean, although at this stage, us being 23, Nirvana's a little bit before our time, I would say. So,
How old were you when that came out? Like
I was born in 1988, so when Nevermind came out,
Yeah, you
I
were
was
like
probably
3.
5. Yeah.
Is it a stressful industry, do you think? Is it like there's a lot of pressure?
There's definitely a pressure to be cool and to kind of be on top and on the next level and kind of know, you know.
With my coolness questionable, the guys helped me lift my game.
Double denim. Would you hang out with me now that I'm wearing this after work?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Before would have you, or do you thought I was some sort of like dweeb or something?
No.
No.
I have like a weird dad.
I noticed the vending machine stocked beer, and I thought it would be cool if I drank one.
Oh, it's out.
Not impressed, I asked the boys to take me to their boss, Megan.
We're like a really cool band. Hello. Oh, we've got a small dog. Julian, good to meet
Megan.
you. You've met these interns? Do you guys have any jobs going at the moment?
Not right now.
Not right now. I'd recommend Jacob.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not so sure about the other one, but yeah.
A lot of the people who work here started out as interns.
Wow. Did you?
I did.
You did?
I did. I started in 1989.
It was the same year that Sub Pop released Nirvana's first album, Bleach, which sold 1.7 million copies in the US alone.
He seemed to touch so many people, and I think his message was really meaningful to so many people, and so he sort of became the icon of a generation, and that's something that I think a lot of people in Seattle feel very proud of.
It was a great legacy, but I was still interested in sorting out the beer situation.
Look at that.
Sub Pop beer.
You've got your own beer?
Yes.
Would I be fired if I was caught sitting in the corner drinking beer?
Chances are you'd probably be promoted.
I need bottle opener. Thank you.
Oh, I get to do it for
Yes,
you?
thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Do you have a glass?
With everything ready to mail, I wanted to show some initiative. So I took the boys on a 30-minute walk to the local radio station, saving the company over $1 in postage.
That's KEXP.
Where the music matters.
Hi.
Hello, we're here to see Cheryl.
And Cheryl is expecting...
Tell her the interns are here. We can wait, we don't get paid by the hour. So,
You guys are like me.
are you not getting paid as well?
Right. That's it.
It's quite a popular thing in Seattle.
Yeah, it is actually.
Bit of important delivery.
Oh,
so.
excellent.
Hello, Cheryl.
Hi.
Come over from Sub Pop.
Oh, I'm excited. We've been
Full
dying
moon.
for some new songs.
And I have to tell you, you have to put it on high rotation.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay, well, you know the music speaks for itself.
Great.
The day wasn't over yet, and back at the office I was upgraded to filing duty. A short trip north from Seattle is Tulalip Indian Reservation. Indian reservations are recognised by the US federal government as sovereign nations, but without full independence. To a certain degree, they abide by their own laws, allowing Tulalip, like many other reservations around the country, to build their own casinos. The income has allowed the tribe to preserve and promote their unique culture and enabled resident artists, James and Joe, to work full-time on their art.
This is a whale fin, and these are going to be bronze cast.
It's the Sasquatch, is it?
This is a Sasquatch. This is my depiction of him with his family. You always see him kind of running, you know, away from people. And if we were able to put a camera in the woods and kind of see his environment and see how he lives, this is kind of how I see it.
Do you guys believe that they're out there?
I do. You know, we've been told these stories all our lives.
I have a small carving which a Native American gave me from Nevada, which is a rabbit.
Rabbit?
Yeah, it's my spirit guide. Is it a good spirit guide?
I think you would have to ask the guys in Nevada.
Okay. Does it mean something different for you guys? You're like,
exactly.
oh, don't tell them. What's your favourite animal?
The killer whale, I guess.
Wow.
You know, mine is probably the wolf. It's kind of what I identify with.
I think a wolf and a killer whale is a little bit more impressive than a rabbit.
In the tradition of passing on the craft, James allowed me to add my own strokes to his Bigfoot carving.
All right, so this is an as.
An ass.
As.
As, okay.
Yeah. You just take little swipes at it just to get the hang of it. So, are you ready?
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Start kind of doing some
cool.
swipes here.
And what is this?
I'll
Is
just correct you a little bit.
Bigfoot's ass, is it?
Yep. Fitting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now I want to whip it a little bit. Yeah, and then just kind of.
I'm not ruining it.
Oh no, you're not ruining
good.
anything. That's why you're here. On the ass.
On the ass, great.
The Sasquatch bronze will end up on display in the reservation's casino, alongside the pair's other amazing works. With my interest in Sasquatch peaked, I drove to Mt Rainier. The Pacific Northwest is famous for Bigfoot sightings. Although dismissed as a myth by most in the science world, I was determined to have my own encounter. I'd organised a small trek with Sasquatch enthusiast Paul Graves, who has been researching the ape-like creature for 25 years.
That's the thing that people go, well, there's no way Bigfoot could exist. And most of those people that say that are the ones that are sitting on their couch. You have to get up to find anything, including Bigfoot.
I'd love to see one. What are my chances?
You got a chance, but I would have to say your chances it's rare.
You believe it's a real
Oh,
animal?
absolutely, 100%. There's no doubt. We don't even think of it as whether it exists. I guess we're knowers other than believers. We know that they're out there. I've talked to hundreds of people that have seen them from all walks of life, from doctors, lawyers, policemen, everybody sees them. So I think we're in the discovery process right now, and one day they'll get cataloged and be found.
Paul himself has had 2 Bigfoot encounters. With around 22 million acres of forest in Washington state, it makes a great place for the creature to hide.
So this is the area that they would live?
This is their home base right here.
So we could potentially find a footprint or something?
I've been tracking my whole life, and so you look for a footprint because they will leave, especially in this muddy stuff, and you're sinking right in there, yeah.
A lot of Bigfoot evidence is anecdotal, but many prints have been found and casts made. I wondered if they'd ever found any Bigfoot droppings.
I would think they would bury it like a cat. And so scat's kind of tough to find. We have found some piles that didn't look normal.
Paul even claims to have recorded evidence of the Sasquatch call.
They scream. I mean, they just like full out scream. And sometimes when you wait and listen, you might get lucky and you might get an answer back. Good.
What other noises do they do?
Yep, something like that.
Paul believes that the best way to have an encounter with Bigfoot is to let them come to you.
I like to do things that other people do when they've had an encounter. There's been a lot of reports of gold panners having encounters, like they come down and they're checking them out.
Wow.
Come out and enjoy the woods too, but he's out here.
You've got me though, I'm looking for him all the time.
Yeah, you're looking.
I wanted to know if there were any other ways I could go about ensuring an encounter.
The easiest way is just to set up a camp, a normal camp. Be there for as long as you can, 2, 3, 4 days, making lots of noise, playing music, and they get curious, and they'll come in at night when you can't see them, and they'll like come around your campfire, but you can never see them, but they are checking you out.
I'm a bit worried about camping here.
With Paul ensuring my safety, he played me one of his many Sasquatch songs. This one about his friend Jim Henry, who had had an intense Bigfoot encounter.
Looks like a hair-covered man, running faster than a deer, being chased by a bear through the bottomland. Oh, Jim Henry's got a new friend. Walking with Jim Henry, there he goes again, with his hair-covered friends.
Mt Rainier is considered to be one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world, and the devastation it could potentially cause can be seen at nearby Mt St. Helens. On May the 8th, 1980, Mt St. Helens erupted in catastrophic fashion. Now a national monument, the area has been left untouched in its recovery. At the time of the eruption, Dick Ford was in charge of 150,000 acres of commercial forest near the mountain.
For us that had been around here all our lives and it had not been active, we thought of it as just a snow-capped mountain, not a volcano.
At 8:32 in the morning, an earthquake triggered Mt St. Helens to erupt, causing one of the biggest landslides in world history, followed seconds later by a lateral blast that swept hot gas, ash and pulverized rocks at an almost supersonic speed down the mountain.
Lateral blast was the surprise that scientists could not predict. Everything was affected that was on that north side of Mt. St. Helens very violently. It's just nothing that any of us had ever seen before.
It was all over in minutes. The blast zone stretched for 19 miles, destroying or flattening everything in its path. Combined with subsequent mud flows, the forest company Dick worked for lost $67 million worth of trees and equipment that day.
I didn't go up right away. I had 10 years worth of my work destroyed. I wasn't in a hurry to go see that.
57 people died as a result of the eruption. One of them was volcanologist David Johnston, who had been monitoring activity from an outpost 5 miles away.
As good proof that it surprised everybody, he thought he was safe. He was the closest to the mountain, the first one to see this occur.
His last words communicated over the radio were "Vancouver, Vancouver, this is it." His remains have never been found. The place where he was stationed was renamed Johnston Ridge, and an observatory built in his honour. Just outside the blast zone is Eco Lodge, built in 1995 by Mark Smith. His parents had owned Spirit Lodge, built on the banks of Spirit Lake, which was decimated in the 1980 eruption. In the direct path of the landslide, the lake's water was temporarily displaced in a mega tsunami before settling on a new lake bed 300 feet higher than before.
In most catastrophic events, there's debris. You know, you find ashes in a fire, you find parts in a tornado. When 600 feet of mud, rock, and debris covers your property, it's gone in a blink of an eye. So it was rather difficult.
Mark was 26 miles away on the day of the eruption.
We were supposed to be up there at 10 o'clock in the morning, but it blew at 8:32, so we missed it by about an hour and 28 minutes.
So if you had been there, you wouldn't be here?
Probably not.
One resident who chose to ignore evacuation advice and remained at Spirit Lake was lodge owner Harry Truman.
He was a legend in this area, long before the mountain erupted. He'd been at the mountain for over 51 years. He in no way was going to leave the mountain that he grew up with and loved. And if it was going to go, it was going to take him with him. And, you know, we were always laughing at him like, sure, Harry, you're going to do that. And lo and behold, on May 18th, 1980 at 8:32 a.m., Harry Truman died and took everything with him. And a man of his word.
What's your feeling towards the mountain now?
Today, I think that it's probably one of the, I always call it the eighth wonder of the world. I mean, you know, because it's just so spectacular to go see. It's different today. I mean, you know, and it's a different beauty, but you still miss the things that you grew up with.
Aberdeen is hometown of Kurt Cobain. The Nirvana song, "Come As You Are," is now the town's official slogan. Nicknamed the hellhole of the Pacific in the 1900s, the logging and fishing town still has trouble with unemployment and crime. The 80s weren't much better, and a teenage Kurt sought refuge in punk music. A tiny slice of land in his old neighbourhood has been renamed Kurt Cobain Riverfront Park.
Please pick up your dog's deposit. It's quite a grungy little park.
During a homeless period post-high school, Kurt claimed to have lived under the bridge, encapsulated in the song "Something in the Way."
Someone's carved Kurt in the dirt.
It's an interesting shrine to the troubled singer who took his own life in 1994. Some of his cremated remains were scattered in the Wishkah River. The next day I set off into the wild in search for some of the 6,000 elk who live in the Olympic State Park. One of the biggest members of the deer family, elk are known for their shyness, but with retired ranger Roger helping me, it wouldn't be a problem.
You think we'll see the elk today?
Well, we're certainly going to give it our best shot.
When I went looking for the Sasquatch, I didn't see him.
Be looking for a tan elk butt. They're probably that big around.
Mm-hmm. So the only way to spot them is to find their butts?
Well, it's the easiest way because they stand out, and of course they live in herds, so there will be several of them.
I see one butt over there.
That's Lisa, the ranger. Let me just run in here real quick and see if the elk are here. I'll be right back.
He's doing an elk call. Do they whistle, do they?
They do.
So weird. I would have thought they would have gone moo or something.
You're going to attract a bird for sure.
Despite his doubts, I had landed us an elk.
And he's really hard to spot, I think, but I maybe have one, I'm not sure. Or is it a tree?
It was a tree. But an hour later, I had us back on the right track.
Thought I saw some in there.
That's a tree.
That's a tree. That's a tree. Quite good at spotting trees.
Oh, we call it elk fever. This may be as close as we get to an elk today.
Really? You think this is elk? Could be just a car leaping. Ooh, you don't want to touch it, do you? You think it is or not?
It is. Well,
it is.
There are their footprints.
Oh, wow.
There.
Which way were they heading?
They were headed that way.
This way?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. The birds love your elk call.
The 4-hour elk trek had been fun, and just when I'd given up all hope of finding one, my accommodation at Lake Quinault Lodge delivered the goods. With my spirits high, I decided to take one last look for the Sasquatch. The beautiful Hoh rainforest was only a minute's trek from my hotel, and a good place to start.
Here's a rabbit. I know what that means. My spirit guide is in the path.
I took it as a sign to retreat, and to bring my heart rate down, I took the lodge's sunset tour around the lake. While the phone signal was average, the scenery was spectacular. The next morning I carried on to Ruby Beach, another part of the impressive Olympic State Park. Washington's famous weather had shown up, giving the beach a nice haunted vibe.
Can't see any elks anywhere. That's a seal, I think. Is that a seal? It's a seal.
When unknown writer Stephanie Meyer needed somewhere rainy to set her novel, she typed "place with the most rainfall in the US" into Google and came up with Forks. The book she wrote was called Twilight, the first in a series of 4. Selling millions, they were then adapted into hugely popular films. Because not one frame from any of the movies was shot in Forks, Twilight Tours, run by couple Travis and Rhianna Lee, sticks closely to the words of the books.
Who are mainly the people that you have? Okay. Teenage girls?
We have teenage girls, but we a lot of Twi guys as well. Every walk of life, every corner of the globe.
Like many dedicated fans, Rhianna Lee describes herself as a Twi-hard.
It's a modern Romeo and Juliet story.
With a little bit of vampires and werewolves.
And werewolves in there. And it's just a fabulous story. It reminds you that there are great books out there, and I think Stephanie Meyer did a great job.
Travis had been a tour guide in Hollywood until his wife had other ideas.
She's like, what do you think about moving to Forks? I was like, yes, dear. Whatever you say, I had no choice.
But it didn't end there for Travis.
We named our baby after Twilight as well.
What's she called? Twilight?
Close. Isabella Rosalie Bells, so little Bella Bells.
Isabella, is that her?
Yes, that's Isabella Swan.
Twilight fans divide themselves into 2 camps. Team Edward, a brooding vampire, and Team Jacob, a 6-pack toting, shape-shifting wolf. I hadn't read the books or watched any of the movies, but I was now feeling slightly Twi-curious.
When Twilight came out, we had about 5,500 visitors all year long. Fast forward to the last 2.5 years, we've had about 180,000 visitors through Forks, Washington. It's been wonderful for the economy, to say the least. Okay, a lot of fun as well.
With tour locations being loosely based on descriptions in the book, our first stop was home of Edward's human love interest, Bella Swan.
It's the home of the Swans. Bella and Charlie live here.
Really?
So there you go, absolutely. Okay, it's just,
After you.
All right.
Are you fans?
Yeah. Just me.
Just you. You've never seen it.
Fell asleep.
You fell asleep?
Yeah.
You're here to support her.
He was great husband material, but I wanted to know her true love.
Which one, Jacob or Edward?
Edward.
Edward.
He's so handsome.
He's so handsome.
Our next stop was the police station, where Bella's father worked. The local police had left out a squad car especially for the tourists. A Twilight-themed B&B, which conveniently doubled as home of Edward Cullen, was the perfect place to probe the depths of Rhianna Lee's Twilight passion.
I'm an Edward fan, but I like Jacob too, He's more like a brother to me, so I want him to be happy.
You're not interested in him in that way?
No, no. I fell in love with Edward in the books. So did millions other.
Of young teenage girls, yes.
But when the second movie came out and Jacob took his shirt off, a lot of them jumped ship.
Because of the abs?
Mm-hmm. In the books, most people are Edward fans.
Because they couldn't see the abs.
Yeah, it's solely the characteristics.
I was getting extremely tired, but we still had to visit Jacob's home territory in La Push.
Notice off to the right, the signs will start off kind of normal. Groceries, gas, deli, burgers, pizza, seafood. Then the last sign on the right-hand side, no vampires beyond this point. Again, treaty line.
We were now in wolf country, where Edward and his family were not allowed. There weren't a lot of wolves about, but Travis had the next best thing.
Scientist, did it work? It's not? No? Okay. Okay, here we go. Oh, they're ready. Okay, here we go. Oh, here we go. They're lined up. Oh, this is perfect. Look at that. Look at that.
With the tour coming to a climax, I was dropped off at the Quileute Oceanside Resort. It was run by the Quileute tribe, who have embraced the saga and its use of their own native mythology. I had enjoyed my Twilight encounter, but couldn't really see myself becoming a Twi guy anytime soon. 1 hour and a scenic drive up the coast is Port Angeles. I was starting to get a little spoilt with Washington's natural beauty, so I headed to a place above town that sounded nasty, Hurricane Ridge. But there were no gale force winds or destruction, just doe-eyed deers and spectacular views. Close to Port Angeles is the city of Sequim, home to the Olympic Game Park. It began life in the 1950s, after owner Lloyd Beebe began training animals for Disney movies. The park was open to visitors in 1972, and is now run by Lloyd's grandson Rob, who is still training film stars.
Tug is almost 3 years old. He's a Russian brown bear.
I should not come in, right?
No, you guys can come in right here.
Oh, really? Where?
Yeah, just stay on this side.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Just checking to see where I've been.
See if you've been with other bears.
Something like that.
You can smell something in there. Where have you been? It's an unfortunate spot that he's...
yeah, I know.
He's kind of slobbering there.
Tiger had been learning a few moves for an upcoming horror film.
Wow.
Where's that? Oh.
He's trying to wrestle you.
The only bear found in the Washington wild is the black bear, and although attacks on humans are very rare, I wanted to know how to survive one.
You just curl up in a ball and cover your neck.
And they'll scratch you up and bite you a couple of times.
Yeah, they'll scratch you up and bite you a few times, but they won't get your throat and your jugulars and your soft.
How about if you just run away?
No, they'll chase you down. They run faster than you can. And you can't climb trees out of those guys, because those guys will climb trees right behind you.
I've been in the forest. I wish I hadn't been.
Ooh.
After spending hours looking for them a few days earlier, the farm provided a much easier way to spot the animal that had eluded me.
Got close to an elk.
You did. You got close to an elk.
Returning from the virtual wilderness, I headed back to Seattle. I'd heard about the alternative neighbourhood of Fremont, which has the unofficial motto, "Freedom to be peculiar." The area's most famous resident can be found under a bridge at Troll Avenue. The Fremont Troll was the winning entry of a 1990s art competition, and it still maintains that 90s grungy teenage vibe.
It's quite ugly. Looks a bit like the Bigfoot that I didn't find. Not my idea of art.
Fremont was easy to walk around, meaning I could happily avoid the fun tourist bus experience. Waiting for the Interurban, built in 1979, is a Seattle landmark, which locals are encouraged to decorate. The interactive statue even has a local politician's likeness captured in the face of a dog. Other neighbourhood oddities include the Cold War era rocket and a Slovakian-built statue of Vladimir Lenin, which is up for sale.
Yeah, maybe I'll buy it. 300,000. Could see that in my little tiny flat. Quite an interesting wee suburb. Hippie, and then it has a bit of communism in it.
Ignoring Lenin, I was ready to rejoin the oligarch lifestyle. The Fairmont is a luxury downtown hotel which opened in 1924. I thought that I'd left nature behind me, but the hotel's executive chef had decided to install 500,000 bees on the hotel's roof, all in aid of making honey-flavoured beer for sale at the hotel's restaurant.
Cheers. good.
The bee's strong work ethic had inspired me to seek out some more American work experience the next day. The Space Needle is an icon of Seattle. Built for the 1962 World's Fair, it exudes a charming 1960s vision of the future. I was meeting with Josh, an elevator operator, who is going to teach me the ins and outs of the role.
Going all the way up to the top on this one.
I've used one of these buttons before.
I'm good,
Yeah.
good. Always a plus.
What are tips that I should know?
Definitely just keep talking. That's the main thing.
Really?
You know, don't let there be any silence.
Entertaining passengers with facts on the 41-second ride to the viewing deck was my main function. I was a little nervous, but Josh was soon filling my brain with local knowledge.
Channel 4, you know, sometimes they film a little bit of Grey's Anatomy there, so that's usually interesting for some people. Yeah, just some exteriors generally. Most of the shows, of course, filmed in Los Angeles.
With my very brief training complete, I changed into uniform and took on my first paying customers.
Welcome to the elevator.
Oh, welcome. Thank you.
Yes. In you go.
Here we go.
Yes.
I'll stand in the back and
yeah, give me feeders.
help you out if you need it.
Welcome to my hometown, Seattle.
I don't believe you.
I want to make sure you close the doors and get on
I
our
have to
way,
close
'cause
the
you all
doors,
know.
yeah.
I may have failed at button pushing, but I was ready to win them back with my fascinating facts.
When it was built in 1962 at the World's Fair, it was the tallest building west of the Mississippi. It didn't hold on to that for very long. And now you see this black building, which you can't see quite yet. Hang on. The black building is the Columbia Center. Well, that's the tallest building in Seattle. You see Channel 4 News down here. They sometimes film ER at this studio.
No.
Sometimes
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy, sorry. Yes.
I was blowing it, but like all good elevator operators, I had more tidbits to throw at them.
And if you look out yonder over here, the Sleepless in Seattle was filmed. Tom Hanks's boat was in that river. Any of you have any questions? Yes, young man?
Like, which building was the boat in?
That's out there on the Lake Union over there, on the northwestern side. Like, oh, I'm so sorry, actually. I shouldn't have interrupted you.
And the boat, you can't see it anymore. Have a lovely time in Seattle and enjoy the view. Tips are appreciated.
In some parts of America, having a therapist is as fashionable as having a personal trainer. I'd long admired the happy, positive American attitude, and I wanted in. So I booked a session with counsellor and personal trainer Gina Goodat.
So it's supposed to be a place that you can dump your worries and de-stress and work out some issues.
The first way to bring down my stress levels was with exercise.
What kind of exercise? Are you an outdoorman that you like to be out hiking, running, golfing?
I might be skinny, but I'm fat on the inside, I think.
But when you're doing the things that you're doing around town, say you're staying in a hotel, could you use the workout facility?
I could, but I'd rather go for a beer at the bar.
What I'm sensing is that you're a person that likes to be in control.
Oh, yes. I'm more out on a bus. I'm not in control.
30 minutes in, we had identified one of my addictions that was bringing me constant updates on stressful things.
How often are you distracted by your phone?
Oh, I probably reach for the phone every 3 to 5 minutes.
One of the key happiness factors is being present. People that are present aren't worrying about the future and they aren't ruminating about the past.
Yes, be present, so...
You will have to challenge yourself in this or I will take your phone. And the last tip I want to give you, a joy list.
A joy list?
I want you to start a big joy list of everything that you love. People, places, smells.
Salami.
Oh, salami. I'm going to start it for you.
Spicy chilies. What else do I love? Passion fruit. Musk.
And then the idea with this is to always integrate that into your life. So you can't always go to, say, Fiji if that's a place you like, but you can always grab your chili.
Yeah, I can.
All right, and you can light a candle that's a musk smell.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so always we want to put those things around us.
Eat loads and loads of salami.
That sounds good. Well, I'm hopeful for you.
It was a good session and no tears were shed. I could already sense a new positive outlook forming. Moving to the century-old Sorrento Hotel, I'd organised to meet up with a bunch of vigilante crime fighters later that night. Heeding Gina's exercise advice, I took the stairs to the hotel bar.
I think I need some Dutch courage because I've never been a vigilante before. I'm off out crime fighting tonight.
Nice.
Fighting with the Mr. Phoenix Jones. Do you know him?
I believe so.
I just hope he doesn't get me killed.
Yeah.
Every city has crime, but not every city has superheroes to fight it. The Rain City superhero movement has 10 members, all with superhero names. Tonight I was on patrol with Midnight Jack, Captain Karma, El Caballero, and the group's leader, Phoenix Jones, who was streaming the night's events live on the internet via his chest-mounted iPhone.
You must be hot. It's like 90 degrees.
It's not meant for this. Seattle's raining.
No, yeah.
And it's supposed to be like waterproof and all good. And it's,
How tough is that?
Oh, this is rubber. It's the bulletproof vest underneath that does the work. You push on the chest here.
Yeah.
There's a stab plate in the center there.
Really?
That does most of the work.
I just want to thank you guys for all the good you do for Seattle, man. This
Thank
is
you,
great.
man. I appreciate that. What's your name?
Thank you. My name is Alan.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you.
We got a little pre-meeting, guys. All right, first off, I got the new taser. I got a new one. This is the s1e6. It's got about a 90-foot range on it.
Don't get me.
So when I pop the little light up, you'll see that. If I yell taser, 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 everyone stop touching the bad guy because I'm gonna tase him. Whoa! We got the other, obviously the pepper sprays. This is a 20-foot controlled range pepper spray. I could aim up, hit the pole, and it won't hit any bystanders. It shoots with a lot of force and a lot of power.
You're all pretty prepared.
Well, you gotta be. I've been shot at more than 30 times this year, so.
30 times this year?
We get shot at occasionally. What's wrong?
Oh, we've got something happening, have we? Already?
Give me a sec. Let's give him space. Let's talk it out. Give him space. Let's relax.
Dog, for real.
Let's relax.
I ain't got beef with you, but...
All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you guys about 15 seconds to walk it out before I call the police, so y'all figure it out. 5 more seconds. 911, call me. Call 911. If someone swings, everyone's getting pepper sprayed. Think about it before you do it. If y'all swing, someone's getting sprayed, it's better to just walk it off. You got a call on me, right? We don't really need this. This is dumb.
That's what every city needs. Someone just breaking up fights. Oh no, it's not finished yet. He's still coming.
Anyone swings, they're
He's
getting
coming back for
sprayed.
some more.
Separate now!
Come on, this is so dumb. Let's just walk it off. Come on, walk it off.
Bro, bring this down.
You never see me, dog. You're talking real loud. Come to the park. Who's got your money? Come get it.
Weapons holster.
Is that a success?
It's not over yet. Give
Not
me a
over
second.
yet, really? Is it a dangerous area, is it, or is
Well,
it...
right in front of the strip club is because guys get all hopped up. But Seattle's normally pretty safe. This right now is the historical district, Pike Place and all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the crappy district.
The crappy district, all
How you doing,
right.
brother? No, you can take a photo. Don't worry.
If I ran off with this, would you catch me, hunt me down?
I would just tase you.
Tase me.
Cool. You guys have a good night. Be safe, okay? If you see some crime, call 911.
With the situation diffused, it was time to go on patrol.
What made you want to get into this in the beginning?
You know, everybody's got different motives. Mine, my son got injured in a car break-in, and the police didn't pursue the case to my level. So I went out and handled it myself. And after handling a few crimes myself, I realized I have to find a legal way to do this, or I'm going to find myself in jail.
Beginning his crime-fighting career in a spandex suit 3 years ago, the police have detained Phoenix 37 times, but no charges have ever been laid. While the group operates within the real world, when it comes to naming villains, they have made up their own comic book version of reality.
Right now, what you're going into is Glass Alley. So we come down here, and what we see is a bunch of broken glass always in this parking lot. We're sure it's the same guy, so his supervillain name is Mr. Glass. Jack, we're good? Any glass? Nothing new? That's a good sign.
Oh, something happening.
See this?
Yeah.
That's fresh. You follow the trail of where someone tried to sweep it off the sidewalk. So whatever car was here before this car got broken in.
Yeah.
So Mr. Glass came here today instead of there. Before I patrolled here, the police wouldn't show up. You know, actually the mayor called down to the police and was like, listen, how is this rubber guy finding more crime than you? It's ridiculous.
Phoenix has been stabbed in 3 separate incidents, and his attempts to shut down drug dealers have made him a target. I couldn't understand what kept him crime fighting.
I think the biggest thing is, what am I supposed to tell, like, and everybody who believes in me? Yeah, I tried, guys, and I failed. Sorry, it was really hard. I was worried because someone might hurt me, or it's all excuses. It just means you're not dedicated. You got to take it in. You say, look, if I do this, I'm not going to live forever. No one's going to live forever, but I'm going to live a lot shorter than the average. It's really hard to think that if someone wanted to drive by and just do a drive-by shooting, that we really have any effective strategy against that.
You've got the vest.
Yeah, that's a vest. I mean, They're bullet resistant, not bulletproof. I've been shot once already. It sucks. This area's pretty cold, so we're gonna walk up.
Belltown was pretty quiet, so we did an evac to Capitol Hill, where Phoenix took me to meet a bouncer at one of the neighborhood's biggest clubs.
And I'm gonna check you for holes. Heard you got shot at the other night.
Yeah, at. Key word in that sentence is at.
They're out trying to make the world a better place, and people think it's silly, but he actually does really great things. He's had my back a few times when I've been out here. A guy was trying to stab me with a broken bottle 2 weeks ago, and him and his friends ran up, got in between me and the guy, and called the police and took care of it.
Do you feel safer when he's around?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's a presence. It makes the people who would do bad things think twice.
The thing I noticed most is the love the public have for Phoenix, who was more than happy to indulge.
Can't complain so far, man.
Holy crap! I fantasized about this moment so much!
Although Phoenix is definitely the centre of attention, the rest of the crew are also deeply committed. Captain Karma, who was a former police officer, moved his family to Seattle so he could patrol with Phoenix.
There's really not a lot of good in the world that shines anymore. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's obsessed. Oh, let's be the biggest, baddest guy. Let's be the meanest guy. Let's be the most scary guy. But whatever happened to let's be the best guy we can be? Whatever happened to let's lead by example? The world needs good guys. If we're going to survive as a society, we need heroes.
Police thought Phoenix's crime fighting would be a short-lived thing, but as yet he has no plans for retirement.
Actually, I'm working right now on an upgrade for my current suit that has fully ballistic everything. It's basically like the first Iron Man suit. It's going to be on springs and suspended off my body.
Wow.
This isn't exactly like mine, but it's a prototype.
I feel a lot safer knowing that you guys are here, actually. I think that crime just flees in front of you. Thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure.
Stay safe, man.
Thank you.
Pleasure working with you tonight. Thanks for coming out with us.
Knowing Phoenix and his crew were out there meant I could sleep easy in Seattle. The next day was the climactic end to Seattle's Seafair Festival, with hydro boat races and spectacular air displays. Washington had given me much more than I had expected. There was definitely more to it than coffee, grunge and Sasquatches. For a city slicker, I was surprised that I enjoyed my outdoor adventures as much as I did. Taking in my therapist's advice, I had already begun living more in the now, with the adrenaline rush that crime fighting provides. But I was also thinking about the future. There was still North and East Washington to explore. Maybe one day I will return. Next time, minus my phone.
Bigfoot and butterflies, side by side.